Now, there's one part of this story that I never truly understood.
Now, Ammon, being wise, yet harmless.
Okay. Well, okay.
I've never noticed that.
Oh, you haven't? I prayed and I said, Heavenly Father, I don't know what this is. I don't get this. Teach me. What is this? Whoa, blow me away. This was one of those whoa, blow me away instances, okay?
Sometimes the greater act of faith is to sit back and to let God work the miracles.
I think sometimes we are too eager to solve problems and to help people through their problems that we actually get in the way of the Spirit to help them solve their problems. Hello and welcome to another rousing edition of Teaching Restored, where we get to talk about all the great ways to teach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Kevin. Rousing. Okay,
Rousing.
I'm ready.
Yes, this is rousing. At least it was for me. This is what we're going to talk about was kind of a woo thing for me, but woo, I don't know how you spell that, but woo.
Like, is that an epiphany sound? Is that a...
It's kind of an epiphany, but not really, but in a way, just a deeper understanding, I might say.
Okay.
But
okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
I love the sound effect. It was more descriptive than a word.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to play a little scripture chase.
Ooh.
Julie.
Okay.
Where do we find the story of King Lamoni?
I mean, are you asking for like a reference?
Yes. Do you know where that is?
This is the thing. You can't ever ask me to do references. They don't stay in my brain at all.
I get it.
You can't do it. That's the me. Like, I almost feel like that's a cruel joke. Like, it's not.
You know
fair.
what? And you're right, because there are people who can do that, and there are people who can't do that.
Book of Mormon.
And I don't think. Right. And I don't think anyone should feel good or bad about that. I mean, if you can, great. If you can't, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I feel like it's at the beginning of Alma, but then I'm second guessing myself. I don't even know.
Good. You're right. Yeah. Alma 17.
Okay. Thank
Good.
you.
Yeah. And some people can't. And I remember I was talking with a friend the other week and he's like, I have no idea where anything is. He's a new member. And he's like, I am not a scriptorian. I not only do I not know where things are, I don't even know things.
Well, that's fair. That is fair. I am not a new member. And I have no excuses except that my brain doesn't work. Like,
it doesn't work that way, maybe. It works.
It does work. It's true. But like, I will tell you, it is embarrassing when somebody says they'll be like, oh, in 3rd Nephi, I'm like, the only things that I know are like 3rd Nephi 11 is when Christ visits. I mean, I have those missionary points of reference and, I know it's just, I have these like certain mission scriptures, the end. Everything else is a blur and I can sequentially kind of place it. That's it.
That's good enough. That's good enough because you can find it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, so that's what matters. Who cares about the rest?
Oh man. Okay.
Okay. So you know what you do know? You know what you do know is the story
of King Lamoni.
King Lamoni, right?
Yes.
So and Ammon, of course, we have to add Ammon in here.
And this is Ammon.
Go Ammon. Yes.
Yeah.
Again.
If you weren't watching, I did just amputate my arm.
Yes, she did. Yeah. She's armless. So give me the quick rundown on this quick little story, this Ammon and King Lamoni story.
King Lamoni is the coolest. Ammon comes in and he's like, hey, King, can I be your servant? And King Lamoni's like, sweet, okay. And so he goes out and he does all these things without even being asked to serve and preserve King Lamoni's sheep and everything else.
Good.
And he comes back and he's like, what else, King? And King Lamoni's like, who are you? How in the world are you doing all of these amazing things? I must know more. And Ammon asks him some questions and has this really cool exchange and is like the ultimate example of being a courageous yet humble teacher. And King Lamoni is converted. The end.
Wow. That's
How did I do?
That's fabulous. Well done. Who cares where it's at? You just nailed the story.
Right. I mean, come on. For a 4-year-old.
Now, there's one part of the story that I never truly understood.
Okay.
And I've always gone, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's, in chapter 17, oh boy. Actually, it's in 18 now because it starts in 17, going into 18. King Lamoni is blown away. Who is you? Who is you, dude? I don't understand. I don't get this, right?
King Lamoni has struggles with grammar.
Yes, he does. He'll get it someday. Okay. And then in verse 21, he says, if you'll tell me, I'll give everything. Well, not everything. What does he say there? I'll give up what?
I will give you anything you want.
But what?
I know that you're more powerful than all the things that I could possibly give you to protect you.
Right. So next, read that first part of 22.
Now, Ammon, being wise, yet harmless.
Okay.
I've never noticed that.
Oh, you haven't?
The harmless.
He's being
wise yet harmless.
So right. So there are a few things here that stack up on each other that I've noticed over the years, but I'm like, what? That just doesn't make sense. So King Lamoni is blown away. He's like, whoa, who are you, dude? And then Ammon, he says, are you the Great Spirit? No, I am not. And he goes, well, tell me how you have this power and where you got this power from. Those are his two questions. Where did you get the power and how, where did you get it and what is this power? And then he says, if you tell me these things, I will give you anything you want, but you don't need anything because you're so powerful. Right. And then, so I imagine Lamoni is mind blown and Ammon being wise yet harmless. And I'm like, what?
What's harmless have to do with it?
Right. Where does he come up with that?
Except he is dangerous seeming because he has just cut off all these arms.
Maybe he's jacked and he's,
I think he is
intimidating. Okay.
Picture him being really buff.
Right. So then he asks the king a question.
Yeah.
He says, what do you want? And I'll grant you anything. Then Ammon says, if I tell you by what power I do these things, will you believe me? Will you hearken unto my words? He says, will you hearken unto my words if I tell you these things? And that's the thing that I want. I want you to hearken unto my words if so. Yeah. And then King Lamoni says, I will believe all the words. And then the phrase, and thus he was caught with guile.
Oh.
What?
Wait, Lamoni was caught with guile?
Yes. What?
I don't get it.
Yeah. Years. I have never understood that.
Okay.
I mean, so you go from amazement to harmless yet wise to I'm going to do this to I'm lying to you.
But guile isn't necessarily lying, is it?
It's deceit.
It is deceit? Hold on, I'm looking at a cross-reference really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, beguiled.
Beguiled.
Yeah, so it's the root of the word beguiled. I thought that guile was a little bit more like, I guess it is malintent. That's kind of what I thought it was. And so I guess deceit is
right on. Yeah. Right on. So, oh my goodness, I all of a sudden have all these emotions when I read these few verses.
I know, because I'm so impressed with King Lamoni's humility and everything else that's going on in my heart. I love him so much.
And now he's lying? But how?
Well, it's not even, maybe he's not even lying. Maybe he's just got a weird motive for it, like a funky, misplaced intention.
Okay, maybe. You wouldn't think you would do that in front of the Great Spirit, though, would you?
No.
Right.
So how do we, I don't.
What on earth is going on here? So really for years, I have read that and I've been baffled by it, but I just kept going because I'm not going to try to tackle it.
Given that I didn't even notice the harmless word, you can guarantee that I didn't notice that phrase. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So this time though, reading through this, I decided to dive in.
Okay.
I decided to really try to figure this out. And I prayed and I said, Heavenly Father, I don't know what this is. I don't get this. Teach me. What is this? And sometimes when I do that with the scriptures, I get some answers. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Other times it's like, whoa, blow me away. This was one of those whoa, blow me away instances. Okay. So let's back up here for a sec. Who is / was Ammon?
Like, you mean like, where did he come from?
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, don't put me on the spot.
Okay, I won't.
I got to think. Yeah, just tell me. Because I'm having I had a really crazy morning. So my
yes, you
brain
did.
is a little, I really did.
Okay.
We had multiple crucial conversations. I'm like trying to just keep my head above water. You can't quiz me.
Okay. So Ammon is termed really one of the sons of Mosiah.
Oh, duh.
Remember that Alma, right? Yeah, I know you know that, right?
Duh.
Now, actually, whether he is a son of Mosiah or one of the group of the sons of Mosiah, right? It doesn't say explicitly, but we can probably infer that he's one of the sons of Mosiah. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. Aren't they like a trio though? Like, I mean, he is one of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in that group.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
There's more than that. Yeah.
There's more than 3. Yeah. Is it 5? I can't remember.
We don't know how many. It doesn't explicitly say.
Okay.
We just know of a few of them. So these people, this group had the gospel of Jesus Christ so much in their heart that they wanted to go convert the Lamanites. But who were they before?
They were Lamanites before. No, who was who before?
The sons of Mosiah. Who were they before?
Before
they were righteous.
Yeah, before they were righteous, they were not righteous.
They were.
Are you talking about their ancestors? Because weren't these?
No.
They had been converted.
Yeah, they themselves, right? Yeah,
They themselves have been converted. Oh my gosh, Kevin, I'm having to hit rewind. I'm so Old Testament mired right now. I'm studying Hannah. You can't do this to me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have. I'll lighten up on that. So we have. Yeah.
Over here. I mean, I know my scriptures. I'm just really struggling. Oh man, this is embarrassing.
No, it's not.
Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to be embarrassed because I think a lot of people can probably relate to me. It just doesn't always come into your brain. Not as
yes. You're before this, your mind was on something completely crazy different. So yeah, we switched gears to come into this to record this, and
it was abrupt.
We just broke the fourth wall. Great. Okay. So anyways, they were full of pride. They were wicked before. They thought they were hot stuff. They were trotting around preaching against, right? And then the angel comes, and things change for them, right? All right. And then they become righteous. They choose to become righteous, and then they go and try to convert the Lamanites. Great. So that's where he's coming from. He understands the place of pride. Now, King Lamoni, he is a king, right? He is used to giving orders, not taking orders, not saying, oh yeah, what should I do? Oh yeah, why don't you tell me? Okay, I'll go do this. What do you want me to do? I'll go do it for you. No, I am the king. I'm going to do this, right? And so when Ammon comes along, and Lamoni thinks, oh, you must be the great spirit. You must be the great spirit. And he says, no, I'm a man. I am just a man. And then in verse 17, Ammon says, I am a man. I am thy servant.
Yeah.
Wherefore, whatever thou desirest, which is right, I will do. He throws that which is right in there, right? I like that. Verse 18, now when the king had heard these words, he marveled again. My guess is, you're a pretty cool dude if you're just a man. Who really are you? For he beheld that Ammon could discern his thoughts. Oh, you even know my thoughts. Not only can you not be killed, but now you can read my mind. And Lamoni said, who art thou? Art thou the great spirit who knows all things? Ammon says, I am not. And the king said, how knowest the thoughts and intents of my heart? Thou may speak boldly and tell me concerning these things. And also tell me by what power ye slew them. So he asked for 2 things.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me concerning these things. and tell me by what power you smote off. So all of a sudden, and I think that's key.
Okay.
Tell me by what power. How did you become this? What power do you have? Why do you think he asked him what power he has and where he got it?
Are you wondering if maybe he felt threatened?
Possibly.
Interesting.
Possibly.
Because I think like the point that you just brought up a minute ago about, King Lamoni is used to giving orders. And there's like this kind of skepticism in him when he's trying to figure out whether Ammon's the great spirit. But when all of a sudden he's like, you're a man, he's like, wait a minute, I'm marveling. Like, you're blowing my mind. How do you have all this power that I don't have?
Right.
Maybe.
And if I have that power, or if you have that power, will people start following you?
Do you think he felt threatened then?
Possibly.
I had never in a quadrillion, bazillion years even entertained that thought.
But wait, there's more.
Okay, keep going.
If you have that power, how can I have that power? How could I give this power to my people so that they can never be killed?
Be defeated.
So that our armies can never be defeated. My people will rule the world, kind of thing, right? Now, I'm reading into this. This may not be all of it. This is, my reading, my thoughts of what this could be, right? This is my story that I'm placing into this.
Well, I'm trying to contextually kind of read it with that lens for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know you're more powerful than all the armies. I know that you're more powerful than all these things. So like, instead of reading it like from this tone of humility, think about like, let's do a personification swap or a personality swap for just a minute. That's what I was trying to get at. And be like, okay, I'll give you anything. I just have to know how to get this power.
Right.
Right.
And so what Lamoni, I see what Lamoni is doing here is he is all of a sudden feigning humility. So he doesn't feel like, so he's not trying to threaten this man who he thought was the great spirit because that person could do something to him. So he's feigning humility and he says, tell me, how are you doing this? Where did you get that power? So maybe I can get it myself. So maybe I can give it to my people. Right. Mm-hmm. I'll give you whatever you want.
And he's like, yes, I'll believe anything you say.
Not yet, though. He says, basically, I'll give you anything that you want.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't say, I'll do that. Now, Ammon.
Yeah, I was reading down at 23. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So he said, I'll give you anything you want. Just tell me. Yeah. Ammon. Now, here's where it says, being wise yet harmless. Ammon remembers the pride of what he had and how he was trying to get power himself, right? When he was wicked, he was trying to get power himself and he would do anything to do that. He would lie, he would, etc. But he knew he could see, again, this is me throwing this story in to the scriptures of what possibly could happen. He was seeing Lamoni have that same switch of, oh, I want the power too. Okay. And maybe I feel threatened by you. So I need to figure out how to get this before you get a one up on me. So, see, here's Lamoni's mind is changing here. So
do you think that maybe in that verse 22 phrase, Ammon being wise, part of that is kind of a hearkening back, so to speak, to, oh, wait a minute, I'm putting some pieces together. I remember when I was in a similar boat. And like the wisdom part is him being able to discern the same thing in Lamoni.
I think that's part of it. Right. Okay. And he sees that a part of it. And so what he needs to do is put Lamoni in a spot that is uncomfortable for him and in a way that catches him, but not use it against him. So, and I think that's where the harmless piece comes in, which is exactly what happens here, because he says, all right, if I tell you by what, he said, will you hearken unto my words? What does hearken mean?
Like do something about. Like not just listen, but actually act on.
Not just listen, but do what I say.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. What did we just get into now? Now we're getting into Ammon is saying, I want you, king, to do what I say.
He usually gives orders to take orders from me.
Right. Which puts King Lamoni in a defensive position of, I'm not going to take orders from anyone. Right. So will you hearken unto my words if I tell you by what power I do these things? This is the thing that I desire of thee. You wanted to give me anything. What I want you to do is to obey me.
Here's oh my gosh, I just saw it. And Ammon's or Lamoni's response is not, yes, I will hearken.
Right.
His response is, yeah, I'll believe.
Yep.
Interesting.
He changed the term of Lamoni changed the term of the agreement by saying, I'll believe you. Yeah.
Like,
he didn't say.
I've always just read that straight through.
Sure. So have I. Right. And
I've
then
never thought of that conversation as being nuanced.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And when he said, I will believe, my guess is the reason he was caught with Guile is that because Ammon, he and everyone else there plainly saw exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
It was not hid, right? King Lamoni did not do a great job of trying to hide what his real intentions were. And by changing that, everyone knew, oh, dude, you just changed that. That's not what he said. And you're trying to challenge someone. You're trying to change the terms on someone who could whip your fanny right now. Are you kidding me?
You're crazy.
Right. And so he was caught with Guile. He was caught with deceit at that point. Now, this is where the harmless piece comes in, I believe. Ammon didn't go, huh, king, gotcha. Yeah, wah, right? He said, he started to speak with boldness. And all he said was, believest thou that there is a God? He didn't use it for himself. He didn't go back on Lamoni. He didn't that situation where Lamoni was caught with Guile in front of everyone and everyone saw it, he didn't point it out. Yeah. He skipped over it. He didn't need to point it out. He skipped over it and said, all right, I'm going to tell you these things. Do believe in God. And started teaching the gospel, right? He didn't have to do that because that wasn't that power, that pride he wasn't trying to get.
No.
That power he wasn't trying to get because of his pride. It was beyond that. So that's where he starts asking very, very simple questions. After that, do you believe in a God? I don't know what a God. Do you believe in a great spirit? Yes, that's God. Right? And just very simple things until he was ready to hear the bigger picture down in verse 36. But he walks them through that. Okay, I want to stop there for a second.
Okay.
For me to understand this took days. Of me spending a lot of time in the scripture trying to figure out what is going on, asking and praying and say, okay, what about this? And writing, and I wrote down, and I said, okay, maybe it's this and this and this and this. And I said, I think I got it, but not completely. And I wrote it and I said, okay, even here's a summation. And then I went on and said, actually, no, that summation is kind of wrong, and changing my mind and working through this and thinking, okay, who are there? I mean, the Spirit's prompting me, who was Ammon before? What is Lamoni trying to do? He's a king. What is his role? What is he right? And all these things, and put it all together. And finally it coalesced into, I think I somewhat understand it now. Now, is it correct? I don't know that it is. It may be absolutely incorrect what I'm thinking, right? It's my guess. It's kind of where I was led to think. But it took a huge wrestle to get there. And now if someone were to say, Why was he caught with guile? We just spent the last 20 minutes, you and I, talking about this. I probably could sum it up in a few minutes real quickly, right? Not take them through the whole process, but just real quickly sum it up. Now, a recent discussion with Kyle that you and I had that we recorded, he talked about simplicity on the other side of complexity, which is exactly what I went through right there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
At first, it was simple. All right, I don't get it. Move on. It's just part of the scriptures. It was part of it. I had to wrestle and go through that to come out and be able to say, oh, here's an answer. Right.
Well, it's kind of like his diagram where you hit the mountain of complexity. You could have bumped up against it and been like, forget it. Never climbed the mountain. But you had to do the climb to get to the other side. Yeah.
That's exactly it. I love those moments of being simple and then going into the complex and then coming out with the simplicity and being able to I can now simply explain my take on what that is, right? Yeah. And others can probably, like you could probably take that now and go, oh, makes sense. Yeah. And then pass it on, right? And and move on with it. I love the beauty of that whole diagram of that whole saying. But I want to dive into that a little bit more. Okay. Is it okay if we don't go through that complexity?
So that's actually a really interesting question. Is it okay? I mean, like I'm shrugging, you know what I mean? Like define okay. I mean, here's the truth. What's the goal? If growth is the goal, you got to do it sometimes. But if growth isn't the goal, then is it okay? Sure. I mean.
So if the goal is to just teach a lesson, then diving in is an optional thing, right?
Yeah. Like it is an optional thing. But if the goal is growth for you, for them, for like, don't leave it alone.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So as teachers, we have to go through this if we want to reach the true goal, which is conversion of those we teach.
Yes.
We have to do it ourselves.
So here's an interesting, and I don't know if this is where you're going. I'm trying to pull up my scriptures here on my computer because I have some notes in there okay. So here's my thought. I'm like, I'm a little multi-braining while you're doing this.
Wow.
And I'm
Good
like,
job.
well, that's great, Kevin. But like, how does that change your life? Like, how does that insight, help you is what I was thinking. And then I was like, wow, actually, I have some really great answers to that question. One of them has to do with the wrestle itself. The fact that you now have more confidence in your own ability to receive revelation when it comes to the scriptures. You've gone through the practice of, oh, Heavenly Father, like answered this with a question. He prompted you to think, what about the history of these sons of Mosiah? What was their experience like that might have, it wasn't don't you remember they had to go through this, kind of conversion themselves. It wasn't that answer. Right. It was with a question. And so you have to be willing to then take the next breadcrumb. And so part of what it is, confidence building, habit forming. I think the process was probably more powerful than the insight itself. Right. But then I also thought about the insight and I thought, sorry, this might be just a little bit tangential, but I was thinking about how that actually changes this story to be more believable. Because sometimes I've read through it and I'm like, I mean, a king? Really? I don't see that kind of humility in kings that I've known or anybody in a leadership position for that, matter. And it just didn't feel super believable. At times, right. I was always impressed by it. It was almost like this miraculous story. But for some reason, that insight to me makes it feel more real. And so I think that that's testimony building too. Like you're understanding the Book of Mormon. Now the Book of Mormon has just become a tiny bit more relatable in that aspect. And then you're like, oh, what other things am I missing that might make this miraculous story feel more like, wait, this is like real life. This is not a made up fable where everyone lives happily ever after. This is complex people. We talked about that too, right? In a previous episode. This is complex people having complex relationships and figuring out how to get through it just like us.
Right. If I were Joseph Smith just writing this, would I write in there, oh, caught him lying, caught him in the middle of that without giving some context?
Right.
No, that doesn't make any sense. But if you go through a probable optional way that this might have happened, you can actually see personalities coming out. You can actually see their brains working through this. And, I could actually see them doing that 100% because I've seen it in my life, or I've seen it in the movies, or, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But back to your point of, as a teacher, could you skip all of that? Sure.
Good.
But how cool is it when you have that type of experience? And then when you come to the class, it's not that they're impressed. Ooh, look at that insight Kevin gave us. Rather, you're taking them through the process that the Spirit walked you through.
Yeah.
Of, here's some questions I could ask them that the Spirit prompted me to ask myself, that I then, you almost have your own path because of your own process.
Right. And one thing I thought of as you said that was, not only are you showing them what you've learned, but you're showing them how to learn themselves, right?
That whole process. That wrestle is the powerful part of it.
Is it. Now, with that in mind, all of a sudden, and this is really interesting. Elder Scott, years ago, he said he was sitting in sacrament meeting. He received some information, some inspiration. He wrote it down. And then he asked, is there anything else? And the Lord said, by the way, there is. He wrote that down. Is there anything else? Why, yes, there is. And he kept doing that over and over again, right? That happened to me as well. I was like, okay, I learned a lesson. I'm done. And then I was going to go read some conference talks, and it was like, nope, get back. And I'm like, there's more? What? Could there be more? Watch this. This is so cool. Alma, 18 still.
Okay.
In verse 14, this is where Ammon comes in, and the servant, Ammon recognizes there's something wrong with the king. And one of the servants says, hey, great, powerful king, calls him Rabbana, great and powerful king. He says, you need to stay. So he stays. And then Ammon says, in verse 14, what wilt thou that I should do for thee, O king? And he stayed there for an hour in silence. What were they doing?
So I'm so sorry. I got lost. What chapter were you in?
18. 18 verse 14.
18:14. Oh, we're backing up.
Yes. Sorry.
Gotcha. That's why I tried to go to 19. I'm like, that's not even making sense. Right. What were they doing?
In that hour, what were they doing? What's your guess? And this is just a guess. There is no right answer to this. I mean, I'm sure there is a right answer, but it doesn't say what the right answer is. But what do you think that they were doing?
I think that's a really good question. I started thinking about meditating, pondering, praying, but you don't often sit in silence with people.
Right.
Maybe that's all I can.
Maybe he was being respectful of, he asked the question and he was just waiting. But what were they doing? Just staring at each other for an hour?
Twiddling thumbs. Trying to not break eye contact, glancing.
Right. Right. So
good question.
He sat there for an hour plus, and then he asked again, what do you want? What's going on? What do you want? And the king answered him not. What desirest thou of me? But the king still answered him not. And then the inspiration came. All right, now let's talk. And Ammon started saying, is it because thou hast heard that I defended thy flocks and slew 7 of thy brethren in order to defend thy flocks and servants? Is this what causes your marvel? Now, what's cool about this is meta simplicity, complexity, simplicity, because what Ammon did was allow him to sit in his complexity for an hour.
Interesting.
He didn't say anything. He let it happen. He didn't jump in.
Yeah.
He didn't say, I gotcha. I know what's going on
Let
here.
me help you out. Yeah.
Right. He didn't give him answers. He asked a question and just sat back and let him wrestle. Uncomfortably, probably, really uncomfortably, let him wrestle.
Right.
Struggle.
Right.
What does that teach us as teachers?
Don't be so quick. Okay, I had an experience on my mission with this that was absolutely like, I mean, I don't remember a lot of moments, but I remember this moment where we were praying with a family and the Spirit was absolutely there. And when we finished the prayer, I rushed on to the next thing. And when we left, my companion said, Sister McAllister, you can't, like, you gotta give the Spirit space. And I was like, wow, I just need to be okay with silence. I just need to be okay to pause. And so I've kind of like, that is a big thing for me. If I ask a question, I'm like, I am not uncomfortable sitting in the silence while I wait for people to answer it. Right?
Right.
Let them wrestle a little bit. In fact, you're going to get a better answer if there's a pause before that happens. I think that's super instructive.
Right.
I hadn't thought of that.
Whether that's with our children or a classroom or a particular person in the classroom, I think sometimes we are too eager to solve problems and to help people through their problems that we actually get in the way of the Spirit to help them solve their problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes that complexity may take years where we need to be silent.
Yeah. That's super instructive. I mean, what you're talking about here is that if our wrestle is sacred space for us, we got to make space, hold space for other people to have the same experience instead of intervening.
Right.
Yeah.
And notice when he did start talking, I mean, really go back down to verse 25. He asked him something easy. Do you believe there's a God? I know there's a great Spirit, but I don't know what God is. Okay, that is God. Okay, yes, I believe. And then he asked him some real simple questions to just kind of put his toe in the water and say, Are you ready to learn? Are you ready to learn? And he was. Okay, then again in verse 36, then he goes on and explains everything and teaches, but it wasn't a jump in. Okay, now let me tell you everything. It was an ease in. Are you ready?
Yeah, temperature check.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. This wrestle, not only should we be having these wrestles with the scriptures, and we have these wrestles in daily life, right? I mean, this is a principle of life that happens all the time. And as much as we want to help, we need to be listening to the Spirit to say, I got to step back. I got to put trust in Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, put my faith in them and let them do this. Because if I start launching, I'll probably get in the way. Just like your great story of your mission, you got in the way that time.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Yep.
Totally.
Yep. And it's not easy to understand when that time is or when it's not, or, there's always, think about that uncomfortableness for the person watching it. Let's say we have a child who has left the church. What are we going to do? Are we going to jump in and solve it all? Or are we going to let them wrestle and be okay with it?
Instinctually, we pummel them with content from church, from talks, and from all of these things. That's like the instinct. Oh, I came across the greatest talk the other day. I'm totally going to share it as though that's what they want. No, I think you're right. Can I just share a super brief story? And I can't remember if I shared this before or not. So if it is a repeat, I'm sorry, but it was super profound to me.
Yeah.
I think that part of what you're describing is the difference between us as teachers being faithful teachers versus being teachers that are full of faith. Meaning that,
I like that.
Yeah, Stephen Covey, I remember being on a business trip and I was struggling with something in my life, like a pretty big thing. It had to do with a guy that I was dating, not my husband. And Stephen gave me some counsel. It was actually somebody who wasn't like wanting to go to the temple and, things like that. And I was like, I can be a good influence. I can help. I can, help. We can study together. We can do all these things. And I kind of was very optimistic about the relationship because I really liked the guy. And Stephen came to me and he said, in our lives, oftentimes we are so anxious to help good things happen. And being faithful has a place. It's like we do all the things that we're supposed to do, but sometimes the greater act of faith is to sit back and to let God work the miracles. And he said there are going to be times in your life where you are going to need to be so full of faith that you get out of the way. And I think that's what you're describing.
Yes, that is exactly it. Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ammon, where does it say it? It says it in verse 16. And it came to pass that Ammon, being filled with the Spirit of God, therefore he, in this case, perceived the thoughts of the king. Mm-hmm. We need to be full of the Spirit of God so we can perceive what's happening and know when to step in and when to step out. Know when we have someone in our class that we're teaching that is starting to fall away and we can tell. When do we step in? When do we step out? When do we allow them to wrestle compared to when do we jump in and try to save?
Right.
It's so hard. It's so hard to understand that. So
it's so hard to be patient enough.
Yes.
To allow that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care who you are. If you are teaching a lesson, there is some anxiety at some level. You might not be nervous. You might not whatever, but there is some plan. There is something. And it is so hard to be patient and perceptive and all of those things that you're describing to make space for the Spirit.
Right. So the complexity you got to go through. We have to go through ourselves as teachers, right? Mm-hmm. So that we can present that. So that we can understand, and maybe we present that insight, maybe we don't, but we need to go through it as teachers. If conversion is our goal, right? Which teaching the Savior's way, conversion is our goal, right? That is it. At the same time, we need to help others learn how to go through the complexity. And then the third lesson in the end is we need to allow them to go through the complexity.
Exactly.
And be okay with sitting back sometimes.
Yeah. And I love that you included, like, this is not just in a teaching situation formally. This is also like with our kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So that's it. That's all I have. Some things to think about.
So I have to tell you just really quickly, this feels super, applicable to me right now because Addie came to me with an issue the other day and she wants a concrete answer. And it's so interesting because first of all, I don't have one. It is not concrete. And she is struggling because she wants it to be so clear that she could explain it because people ask her questions about it and it has to do, with some of the things some of the lifestyle choices that we make as members of the church, right? And, that are based in commandment, but not necessarily doctrine. Mm-hmm. So, think for the strength of youth, et cetera.
Sure.
And so I'm like, in my mind, like I even just started this morning listening to something about this topic, specifically hoping I'd be able to answer her question. But what I'm feeling a little bit instructed to do is spend more time listening to her and sitting with her in the question, but not trying to come with all the answers.
Go by the Spirit, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard for me. That's really hard.
I think it's hard for pretty much everyone to sit and be patient with that.
Yeah.
And trust God.
Yeah.
Be still and know that I am God. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So go be still when appropriate, when the Spirit, and go through the complexity yourself.
Yeah.
And let it be okay for others to go through their complexity.
Yeah.
That's my thought for everyone today.
It's awesome, Kev. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Bye. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Teaching Restored. Now, we want you to know that there's more more than just this podcast, more than just the discussions that Julie and I have with each other or with other guests that come in. There's a lot more. Let me give you a few things that where we just expand this reach. Number one, there's a community where you can go online and learn from a lot of others and even give ideas yourself. And that is found if you go to leadingsaints.org or teachingrestored.com and look at the community link there. That'll take you to a whole community. And we are a part of the Leading Saints community there, where we talk about, among other things, how to be better gospel teachers. So I would highly recommend you go there. We have some incredible discussions, some real passionate discussions of ideas and different things that we can do to be better gospel teachers. And also we have all of our socials. If you haven't been there, go connect up. We bring in other people's posts that you may not have seen that have great ideas, snippets from General Conference, and just ideas that don't take an hour podcast. They're a lot shorter that we just want to throw out of some good ideas. And then if you would, of course, please pay it forward. Share it with other gospel teachers. That way we can all become more converted, more gospel-centered, and just better teachers of the gospel of Jesus Christ overall. Thanks for joining us in this journey. The team here at Teaching Restored, we so appreciate it. And we love what we do. And this has been a wonderful journey for us. And we're excited about where this is still going. We have more plans to expand the content and expand things out for you. So stay tuned and we'll see you around. Thanks for joining us.